Will this tiny DeWalt Atomic Series impact driver live up to the hype? We'll find out in just a moment. I'm Tim Johnson. You're watching Shop Tool Reviews. Just a couple of weeks ago, we finally got our hands on the brand new Atomic Series impact wrenches from DeWalt, as well as this new impact driver. It's a 20 volt max Atomic Series DCF850. Now it's a small package. In fact, it's less than 4 inches from the tip to the tail, and it's not very tall either. Now, how much power does it put out? They're claiming 1,825 inch-pounds. What's that equate to? Well, let's dig in and find out. This is the DeWalt Atomic Series 20 volt max brushless impact driver. This is the DCF850. This is part of their brand new line they just released a couple of weeks ago. We did kind of an overall review of 2 new impact wrenches and this new impact driver from DeWalt in the Atomic Series. As you see here, really slimmed down, really powerful impact wrenches and drivers with a slim package, if you will, and a couple of neat features that are new, at least to the Atomic impact driver. Now, to start off with, obviously, we're a very small package here. I think you can tell probably just by the naked eye. But if we look at from the tip to the back, tip to tail, what we like to say, 3.996 inches. So let's just call that 4 inches from front to back, side to side. Not a lot has changed there, but we'll just give it a look. So a little over 2.5 inches, even across that rubber overmolding there. Here in the body, a little less than that. So again, about 2.5 inches when you look at the rubber overmolding that's on the front and the back. We get a triple LED light that surrounds the fastening area, or the fastener, or the bit area. So that's really nice. So no longer do we have that light shining up from the bottom. That LED that surrounds the area definitely works out a lot better than shining up from below. So now we know we get direct light contact, anyway, light intrusion, yeah, whatever. Anyway, we get light upon the fastener, whatever we're trying to fasten or unfasten, loosen. We get a variable speed trigger as well. So in addition to the speeds we'll talk about in one moment, we can vary this speed very slow all the way up to, depending on which max speed we have on, all the way up to 3,250 RPMs and up to 3,800 impacts per minute. Now, as I mentioned on speeds here, we get speeds 1, 2, and 3. So we can decide on how much power we want to deliver to the fastener, or how much power we want to deliver to the screw that we're screwing in, the bolt, the nut, what have you. So you have your selection. This more like the old manual switch, or like the existing manual switches that we've seen before. On the new impact wrenches, a little bit different, but on this impact driver, you still get that 3-speed gearbox feel, if you will, of that switch, which we have no problem with that whatsoever. Same rubber overmolding throughout the handle. Very comfortable design from DeWalt. You'll see that the same across from their bandsaw to their impact wrenches to their drills, their impact drivers. Hey, it works well, so why change it? We're also tool connect ready, so you'll see right here, if we pull this battery off, we can take those 2 screws out and ready for tool connect, so we can connect our tools, manage our tools, help with security and so forth. Now, when we look at the chuck, this is a quick release chuck. So not only can you install your bits with one hand, so I can easily just slide that in, and now that's locked into place. I don't have to use another hand to pull that out. But also, if I pull this out, it will eject the bit as well. So easy one-handed operation for installing and removing the bit. In addition to that, it's also able to accept 1-inch bits also. Sometimes, if you'll look at some impact drivers, if you install these little small 1-inch bits, they kind of get lost down in there, and you end up having to get a pair of needle nose pliers, pull out the ejection ring, and then pull out the snap ring, the locking ring, and then pull out your bit. Not so right here. You'll see, so I've got my 1-inch bit in there. It's locked into place. Now when I pull out the ring, it actually ejects the bit. So you can run your 1-inch bit. So if you're in a small area needing to get in that compact space and make use of this little small 4-inch body, again, you can put your 1-inch bit in there with no adapter and still be able to eject it with no problem whatsoever. Power-wise on this little guy, 1,825 inch-pounds. What does that mean? Well, if we divide by 12, that's going to give us foot-pounds, and that would be, I think, 152, if I'm not mistaken. 152 would be 1,824 foot-pounds. So 1,825 foot-pounds. I'm assuming that's probably tightening. In fact, I'm 99.9% sure, because I've already used it, that is our tightening, and I bet on the bolt removal or loosening torque, we're going to go far beyond that. So let's go over and actually test this on some screws, some lags, and then we'll put it on our bolt testing as well. Before we do that, let's throw it on a scale just to get a good idea of what the weight is on it. Right now I have a 1.5 amp hour little slim pack battery on here. So let's weigh it with that. So you're looking at 2 pounds, 13.5 ounces. If you were to throw a bit on there, you're probably adding an ounce. So yeah, 2 pounds, 14.5 ounces. So you're looking at a little less than 3 pounds. Let's throw it on with a 5 amp hour battery just to get an idea. So a little over 3.5 pounds, or right at 3.5 pounds, 3 pounds, 7.5 ounces with a 5 amp hour battery. Still a light tool and no problem holding that tool at all. At the same time, you know, if I were buying this tool, then obviously I'm probably buying it for the compactness of it, as well as the power, but again, utilizing that compactness. If that's the case and I can get by with running a 1.5 or 2 amp hour battery, I would probably do that. Even going to their 4 amp hour has a little lower profile than the 5 amp hour. It's got a little wider base because of the battery cells, but still that might be a better choice, keeping this nice and compact, if you will. The best choice is going to be running the PowerStack battery, which we just talked about last week. We went to DeWalt, actually got to see the new PowerStack battery, and you'll see it's literally going to be about the size of the base of this tool, which would be the perfect battery for this little guy, because you're still going to deliver the power and have the small size of a slim pack battery, even a smaller footprint than that. So let's go use this. You know, running 3 and 4 inch deck screws into wood now is almost laughable with these impact drivers nowadays. They just have so much torque, so much power, even in these small packages, that it's really not a big test anymore. That used to be a big deal to be able to drive a 4 inch deck screw or exterior screw into a piece of PT, but again, just about all of them can do it. Now, how quickly it can do it's another thing. So we'll definitely run 5 of these. These are 3 inch exterior deck screws. And then we have 4 7-inch screws, as well as a 6 inch as well. And so we'll drive these in, and then we'll go over and put them on our bolt test as well, but just kind of give you an idea of how much power we're packing in this little guy. And I'm going to run the 1.5 amp hour battery, so this little slim pack battery at first, and then if we're, you know, tapping out potential there, then we'll move up to a 4 amp hour. So here goes. These are 3 inch deck screws. Okay, that's the 1.5 amp hour. Let me switch this out. I'm going to switch it out with the 4 amp hour battery. See if we see a difference. And I'm on power mode 3, by the way. So definitely a little bit of power difference in the 4 amp hour battery. Now let's go to our T40 bit. So that's definitely not an easy task, driving those long screws, but it actually got the job done. Pretty impressive for this little Atomic series impact driver. Okay, now we're on our bolt test rig, and we're going to test the DCF850 on how much torque we can break loose. We're going to start at 50 foot-pounds, and we're going to go up to, I don't know, roughly 250 foot-pounds. I think we'll see beyond 200 from this little guy, which they claim 150, so anything beyond that should be all pluses, right? Again, they claim 1,825 foot-pounds, which equates to 152 foot-pounds. So let's see what we get. We're going to start again at 50 foot-pounds. All right, as I mentioned, we've started at 50 foot-pounds. We're going to go 50, 100, 150, 200, and 250 foot-pounds. We've gone back down to the 1.5 amp. We've gone back down to the 1.5 amp hour battery. Just going to see how far that will take us. We're in speed 3 here, and we do have a full battery. We just pulled it off the charge, but this little 1.5 amp hour pack does not have a gauge on it. So you'll have to trust us. We've got a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch adapter here and a 1/2 inch by 33 millimeter socket. Again, we've already tightened these, so let's go. Well, that's not going to last. So much for Makita's impact adapter. Okay, change of plans. Going with a 3/8 adapter and our 33 millimeter socket with the adapter welded onto it. It's our trusty steed. 50 foot-pounds. No problem. 100 foot-pounds. No problem. 150. No problem there either. Now we're up to 200 foot-pounds. Again, a 1.5 amp hour battery. Okay, we've gone beyond the 150 for sure, so now 250 foot-pounds. Okay, so we've gone well beyond the capacity of what they claim out of the DCF850. So we've done 50, 100, 150, 200, 250 foot-pounds. Let's start back down here and let's crank this up to 300 and see what we get. Okay, here we go. In reverse, 1.5 amp hour battery, 300 foot-pounds. Not bad for this little DCF850. So 350 foot-pounds. Okay, that's 10 seconds of hitting with no movement. So we're going to switch out our battery, go to the 4 amp hour, and then see what we get. Okay, so 350 foot-pounds. That hit on, I don't know, 8 seconds or so, which again, we already hit on it a little bit with the other battery, so that could have been what helped it. So now we're at, would we start 300, 350? Now we're at 400 foot-pounds. Here we go. Okay, no movement there, but again, we got 400 foot-pounds out of this little DCF850. So this little Atomic 20 volt definitely goes beyond what they claim. And for everybody that wants to know, we're going to throw the 5 amp hour on here, which, by the way, that 4 amp hour would have been able to do it if this one would. So we'll just show you here. So no movement there, even with the 5 amp hour. but we still got 350 foot-pounds out of the 4 amp hour battery. This little DCF850 atomic impact driver did very well in both fastening these construction screws as well as removing bolts off of our test rig. Now we will say that we picked up some power in going from the slim pack up to the 4 amp hour and 5 amp hour batteries. However, running the 1.5 amp hour slim pack battery, it did very well. So if you can get by with running a smaller battery, then why not? Now you may need the runtime of a larger battery pack like the 4 amp hour or 5 amp hour. Now where we really see this fitting is with that new PowerStack battery that we just heard about. By the way, if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out. We'll have it linked in the description. But that small PowerStack battery is going to fit basically the footprint of this tool and deliver more power than what we're seeing out of these packs. In fact, they're claiming it's probably going to be somewhere around the power of a 5 amp hour. So anyway, that smaller footprint on this tool will be a perfect match. Now DeWalt claimed 1,825 inch-pounds, which we converted to 152 foot-pounds, and we saw well beyond that on our test rig. So I think we broke loose 250 foot-pounds with the 1.5 amp hour battery, and then went up to 300 and even 350 foot-pounds, going up to the 4 amp hour battery and breaking free 400 foot-pounds. We never did it, even with the 5 amp hour battery, which by the way, we're going to pull more power from this 4 amp hour pack. We'll get into batteries later. Regardless, this little DCF850, the Atomic Series 20 volt tool, went well beyond the call of duty. So you can pick it up at Home Depot for $199, includes a 3-year warranty, again the 5 amp hour pack and the charger. Also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? But if you hated our video, by all means, give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.